Malaysians celebrate Pride of Asia, Michelle Yeoh, Oscar win. The Communications and Digital Ministry will propose to the Education Ministry to use Digital Economy Centres (PADI) in Johor as home-based teaching and learning (PDPR) locations for students whose schools are still affected by floods or used as temporary relief centres. Minister Fahmi Fazil explained that currently the ministry is still gathering information to find out which schools are still affected, the students, and which PADI areas are close to them and can be used for PDPR. He said the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) will also cooperate with the Johor Education Department to identify the schools that are experiencing telecommunication issues. He further noted that more than half of the 160 telecommunication towers affected by the floods in Johor have been repaired as of yesterday.
Cabaran mungkin bagi kawasan seperti daerah Batu Pahat yang mana pada waktu ini masih terkesan akibat banjir.
Fahmi said the MCMC has also identified several towers that need to undergo a site heightening process to prevent them from being affected by the floods again. The Commission has successfully carried out the process in Kelantan and Terengganu, which are often hit by floods. The government will allow rescheduling of payments or deferments for up to 6 months for entrepreneurs affected by floods, particularly those who receive funding from agencies under the Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives Ministry. Minister Dato' Iwan Benedict said the flexibility is meant to assist entrepreneurs affected by the floods, especially in light of the economic crisis that is expected to happen this year.
Tentang banjir, terutama bagi usahawan yang terjejas dan terutama bagi usahawan-usahawan yang meminjam daripada agensi-agensi kita. Kita ada dasar untuk memberi kelonggaran kepada usahawan-usahawan ini menjadualkan pembayaran mereka ataupun menangguhkan pembayaran bagi usahawan yang terjejas banjir dan bencana ini sehingga maksimum 6 bulan.
He added the ministry is also committed to assisting entrepreneurs and ensuring the survival of their businesses. He said the ministry, through the Professional Training and Education for Growing Entrepreneurs Protégé program, also planned to implement several entrepreneurial initiatives among graduates this year with a 5 million ringgit allocation. It is expected to benefit 12,450 graduates in the country. The special approval for the temporary import of eggs does not involve public funds. In a statement released today, the Agriculture and Food Security Ministry said any expenditure and risk to import eggs are fully borne by the importing company and no public funds are used. Commenting further on the matter, the ministry said the Malaysian government does not provide subsidies for imported chicken eggs as enjoyed by local chicken egg producers. It further explained that in order to ensure that the people receive imported eggs that are safe and disease-free, the Malaysian Quarantine and Inspection Services Department and the Veterinary Services Department implemented controls on the entry of imported chicken eggs at the country's borders. The control is a hold test and release HTR test that includes PCR test for the detection of Salmonella bacteria, Newcastle disease virus and avian influenza. Only eggs that pass the HTR test are allowed to enter the country, and so far no imported chicken eggs have failed the test. The ministry also said, based on Veterinary Services Department records, the unity government's effort to overcome the shortage of egg supply in the country since last January have started to show positive development. The Higher Education Ministry will continue to empower the country's education sector in line with the mission in making Malaysia a hub or talent development centres respected by the world. Minister Dato' Seri Mohamed Khalid Nordin stressed that Malaysia should stand out as a country of knowledge and talent. Explaining further, Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid said Malaysia needs to attract the world's best talent, especially from developing countries, to come and learn in the country. This will in turn convince the countries of the world to send their best talents and leaders who have the most potential to be nurtured and polished in Malaysia.
Soal ini sebab kehadiran pelajar dalam universiti, kita membangun kematangan dan mengurus kedewasaan dia. Bila dia terdedah pada semua ni, dia akan mempunyai banyak perspektif dalam dia berfikir.
Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid said the students must choose Malaysia as a stepping stone to greater careers, latest innovations and more meaningful contributions to the regional community as well as global citizens. To that end, he said public and private institutions of higher learning in the country should not be differentiated because both play an equally important and critical role. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zaid Hamidi wants University Polytechnic Malaysia UPTM to be a game changer in developing ethical and holistic professionals who are proficient in contemporary technology. For that purpose, Datuk Seri Dr. Zahid, who is also Rural and Regional Development Minister, suggested that UPTM focus on the transformation of work procedure skills and the quality of teaching staff. In his speech at the UPTM's proclamation ceremony delivered by Deputy Rural and Regional Development, Minister Datuk Rubiah Wang, he said by inculcating excellent work culture values as well as efficient service delivery, UPTM will be more respected. He said in line with the fourth industrial revolution era, UPTM needs to implement digital transformation in order to remain relevant to the current needs and expectations of stakeholders.
Melalui penaik tarafan ini, sektor pendidikan tinggi negara diperlihatkan pada landasan yang betul bagi merealisasi serta mendukung Pelan Pembangunan Pendidikan Malaysia bagi pendidikan tinggi 2015-2025. UPTM harus merancang dan merangka pelan strategik terbaik untuk tempoh jangka masa pendek dan berterusan berkaitan kaedah penghasilan graduan bertaraf global.
UPTM was previously known as College University Polytechnic Mara before being recognised as a full university. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC is tracking down a man known as Dato' Roy to assist in the investigation into a corruption case involving the Jana Wibawa program. In a statement issued today, the MACC said Dato' Roy's full name is Muhammad Hussein Muhammad Nasir, whose last known address is number 3, Lorong 3, RRM, Semambu, Kuantan, Pahang. Following this development, members of the public with information about the 54-year-old man are urged to contact the investigating officer, Muhammad Ashraf Mustafa, using the phone numbers shown on the screen. It was previously reported that the MACC had arrested one of its officers and 3 other individuals, including a woman, on Thursday for allegedly soliciting and accepting bribes amounting to 400,000 ringgit to avoid investigations involving the Jana Wibawa program. Following this, the MACC is now looking for Dato' Roy, who is believed to be the mastermind of the corruption case. Coming up, no direct impact on Malaysian companies from Silicon Valley Bank collapse. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah and his consort Raja Pemaisuri Agong Tunku Haja Aziza Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria conveyed their congratulations to Tan Sri Michelle Yeoh on her historic win in the Best Actress category at the 95th Academy Award Oscars in the film Everything Everywhere All at Once. Their Majesties posted their congratulations to the Ipoh-born actress in a post on Istana Negara Facebook page today, praising her efforts in elevating the country's standing globally. The post read it also proves that with determination, grit and hard work, Malaysians can compete and succeed internationally. Their Majesties also wished Tan Sri Mishayo all the best in her future endeavours and prayed that she would be blessed with continued success.
Dreams dream big and dreams do come.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has also congratulated Tan Sri Mishayo for bagging the Best Actress trophy at the Academy Awards. The Premier described the achievement of the Ipoh-born actress, who is the first actress of Asian descent to win the prestigious award, as having made the country famous on the international stage. Datuk Seri Anwar expressed hope that her achievement will continue to inspire all local artists and filmmakers. Tan Sri Mishayo defeated 4 other contenders in the Best Actress category, namely Kate Blanchett, Anna de Armas, Andrea Riseborough and Michelle Williams. Since starring in Hong Kong films in the 1990s, the former beauty queen has also acted in various other movies, including the James Bond movie Tomorrow Never Dies in 1997, and received international acclaim for her role in the film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon in 2000, which earned her a British Academy Film Awards nomination. Although Tan Sri Michelle made her home country proud today for being the first Malaysian to win an Academy Award, no one was prouder than her mother, Datin Janet Yeo, who was visibly overwhelmed when the Hollywood actress was announced as winner of the Best Actress Award.
Because she was very hardworking girl, everybody knows it.
Datin Janet shared her happiness with her family members and celebrity guests at a special viewing party of the 95th Academy Awards at Dadi Cinema in Pavilion, Kuala Lumpur, hosted by the Yeo family this morning. The whole hall erupted with joy when the Ipoh-born star was announced the winner. Datin Janet, who paid close attention to the screen throughout the broadcast, looked happy whenever the film Everything Everywhere All at Once received an award. The film won a total of 7 Oscars. No direct impact is expected on Malaysian companies arising from the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank SVB. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli explained that the bank's crash wave is unlikely to reach Malaysia since no Malaysian firm has deposits at the bank. Elaborating further on the matter, Rafizi said it is mostly the big startups in Silicon Valley that had accounts at Silicon Valley Bank. However, he further noted that Malaysia might be affected at a smaller scale if the collapse drags the US banking and the capital markets temporarily. Silicon Valley Bank until now had been a reliable source of funding for startups relative to other banks. But the bank collapsed on Friday in the largest US bank failure since the 2008 financial crisis, roiling global markets and stranding billions of dollars belonging to companies and investors. The bank's sudden shutdown sent a chill through Silicon Valley amid an otherwise gloomy period marked by tech layoffs and a pullback in spending as consumers tighten their wallets. Malaysia aims to increase its trade with South Korea by 20% this year after bilateral trade hit 114.54 billion ringgit in 2022. International Trade and Industry Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafar Tunku Abdul Aziz, who will lead a trade mission to Seoul from 14 to 17 March, said to achieve the target, Malaysia plans to continue the engagement and discussions with giant South Korean companies during the visit. Tengku Datuk Seri Zafar said the South Korean companies including Samsung, Hyundai, Huawei and Lotte, and he hopes that the discussions will materialize into investments.
Seperti aerospace, seperti pharmaceutical, chemical, petrochemical, digital economy, ya. Kerana dari segi peluang pekerjaan tu juga penting, tetapi dari segi peluang pekerjaan tu adalah peluang pekerjaan yang bertahap tinggi lah, di mana insya-Allah dengan menegeri peluang pekerjaan yang bertahap tinggi, yang value add-nya tinggi, gaji pun tinggi, ya, dan kita nak rakyat Malaysia pendapatan yang lebih bagus daripada apa yang dapat dicapai pada masa inilah. Kita nak menuju kepada high income economy.
For the trip, he said the ministry is going to bring along the investment promotion agencies, regional corridor authorities, and also Malaysian companies, where they will try and match Korean and Malaysian companies to get the best impact on the economy. The mission's focus is on high technology and high value-added sectors. Meanwhile, South Korean ambassador to Malaysia, Yeo Sung Bae, is optimistic that the strong economic relations between the two nations will attract more South Korean companies to operate in Malaysia.
Of Korean companies will come to Malaysia with the bigger investment. But as I said, the quality is also important. The area they invest is the high-tech industry and ESG-related the area, new energy sector. So through this investment cooperation, we will see mutually beneficial outcome.
South Korea is the 8th largest trading partner for Malaysia and has been one of the Malaysia's top sources of foreign direct investment for manufacturing sector in terms of investments. Malaysia's wholesale and retail trade grew 12.4% year-on-year in January 2023 to record monthly sales value of 135.1 billion ringgit. Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin said the increase was attributed to the retail trade subsector, which recorded an increase of 21.7% to 59.6 billion ringgit. In a statement, Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair said the retail trade subsector growth of 21.7% in January was supported by retail sales in non-specialised stores, which grew 24.6% to 22.7 billion ringgit. He said motor vehicles also expanded by 20.1% to 15.2 billion ringgit, while wholesale trade went up to 3.1% to 60.4 billion ringgit. The growth in the motor vehicle subsector was attributed to sales of motor vehicles, which increased 25% to 7.7 billion ringgit. He said for wholesale trade subsector, the increase of 3.1% was attributed to the wholesale of household goods, which registered an increase of 1 billion ringgit or 8.6% to 12.8 billion ringgit. However, for month-on-month comparison, he said sales value of wholesale retail trade declined 1.6%, mainly contributed by the motor vehicle subsector, which decreased 13.4%. The Armed Forces Fund Board (LTAD) has declared a dividend rate of 5% for 2022, involving a total payout worth 476.45 million ringgit. Defence Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan, when announcing this today, said the dividend rate increased by 0.9% compared to 2021.
Ini mengambil perkiraan suasana pasaran dan suasana sistem keuangan negara masih belum pulih lagi setelah hampir 3 tahun lumpuh disebabkan oleh pandemik COVID-19, tetapi di atas pengurusan yang cekap daripada pihak pengurusan LTAD, mereka telah dapat pulangan yang baik daripada pelaburan mereka dan akhirnya berjaya memperuntukkan sejumlah kewangan untuk mengumumkan bayaran dividen sebanyak 5% seperti yang diumumkan ataupun yang telah pun dibuat.
Datuk Seri Muhammad also advised LTAD's management not to expose the fund to high-risk investments and maintain the principle of safe savings for contributors. Foreign segment, talks underway on Black Sea grain deal extension in Geneva. Three more bodies have been recovered from a ferry disaster off the coast of Gabon, doubling the death toll to 6, with 31 people still missing. The privately owned Astor Miracle went down in calm waters last Thursday, carrying 161 passengers and crew from the capital Libreville to the oil town of Port-Gentil. When the three bodies were found, Prime Minister Alan Claude by NZE said a ship with divers is currently trying to locate the wreck. Libreville Public Prosecutor Andre Patrick Raponen said an inquiry had been launched to see whether negligence, poor maintenance or factors beyond human control caused the accident. Pending the outcome of the investigation, the Gabonese government suspended overnight passenger ship voyages until at least 31st March and ordered an audit of all passenger vessels. Most of the 124 survivors were picked up off Libreville after dawn last Thursday by locals in dugout canoes, fishermen and oil barge in a Navy patrol boat. Negotiations began today between UN officials and Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Vershinin on a possible extension to a deal allowing the safe export of grain from Ukraine's Black Sea ports. The deal, which was extended for 120 days in November, is up for renewal on 18 March. The Black Sea Grain Initiative, brokered between Russia and Ukraine by the United Nations and Turkey last July, aimed to prevent the global food crisis by allowing Ukrainian grain blockaded by Russia's invasion to be safely exported from 3 Ukrainian ports. Moscow has already signaled it will only agree to an extension if restrictions affecting its own exports are lifted, but many diplomats and senior officials, including Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar, are optimistic that the deal will be renewed. Russian officials say that although the country's agriculture exports have not been explicitly targeted by the West, sanctions on its payments, logistics and insurance industries have created a barrier for it being able to export its own grains and fertilizers. Nearly half of the exports shipped under the deal are corn and more than a quarter are wheat. Around 45% of the export went to developed countries. Japanese conveyor belt sushi chain Kura Sushi today said they started using artificial intelligence camera system early this month to catch unhygienic pranks after a video of a man licking a soy sauce bottle filmed at one of their restaurants in central Japan went viral online. According to Kura, they installed AI cameras above conveyor belt in all of their restaurants throughout the country in 2021, initially to automatically count on how many sushi trays customers have taken. In response to a recent series of pranks, the camera system has been since upgraded with a new AI function to spot suspicious behaviors, such as a tray being taken from the belt and then put back on. Once an unusual behavior is caught by the camera, the AI system will send an alert to Kura Sushi's headquarters in Osaka Prefecture, where a team will further take a look at the recorded video and contact restaurant staff to remove that tray from the belt. Coming up in sports, wins for Selangor and Perak as Sabah and Sri Pahang share the spoils. The clash between Sri Pahang FC and Sabah FC at Stadium Darul Makmur last night ended with both sides having to settle for a 1-1 draw. It was the third tie in 4 games for the host, which also saw both sides maintaining their no-loss streak. The Rhinos were overall more pressuring towards their opponents after having created several attempts at the goal. It was Sabah who made their marks first on the scoreboard after a header by Daniel Sangting escaped the grasp of keeper Izham Tarmizi Roslan. Shaken by the goal, the Tok Gajah squad rose to the beat and fought hard for an equaliser, which finally came through a strike by import player Kepas Sherman. There was also some commotion just outside the field when Sabah manager Dato' Ong Kim Swee was sent off after he was not satisfied with referee Nur Azril Baharudin's decision. The score remains unchanged until the end of the match, and both players will have to be content with sharing 1 point. In Georgetown, Penang FC could not capitalise on their home ground advantage and went down 2-1 to Selangor FC at the City Stadium in Georgetown. Selangor under the coach Tan Cheng Ho drew first blood through Colombian Aaron Del Valle in the 27th minute. After the half-time break, both teams were hard at work for goals, and eventually Penang drew level through a Rafael Vitter in the 87th minute. However, their joy did not last long as the Red Giants sealed victory 2 minutes later through their Jordan import, Noor Al-Rawabdeh, who cleverly took advantage of the chaos in the penalty box to slot in a goal. Selangor FC is now on 10 points at third place, 2 points behind league leaders JDT FC, while Penang still have no victories to their name this season with 2 points. Meanwhile, Perak FC head coach Dato' Lim Tiong Kim praised the sharpness displayed by his team's front line to ensure that the Perak FC managed to get their maiden victory in the season's Super League when they beat Kuching City FC 2-0 at the Perak Stadium last night. He said that despite being put under pressure by the opponents, the 2 golden opportunities obtained in each half were successfully translated into goals by the Bosgor's attack machinery. Playing in front of some 4,000 spectators, the Bosgor's 2 goals were scored by South Korean import Seo Son-nook in the 41st and 58th minutes. Tiong Kim was also satisfied with the performance displayed by the Nigerian import striker Christian Obiozor, despite only scoring 1 goal after appearing in 3 league matches. Following last night's victory, Perak now have collected 5 points and jumped to 6th position in the Super League, while Kuching City are in 10th place with 3 points.
Setiap game kita main begitu juga. Kita ada peluang, kita menggunakan. Saja hari ini kita punya peluang, kita menggunakan peluang dan menjadi gol. Lain-lain game pun kita membuat banyak prepare for goals. Saja penyudahan tu tidak, tapi hari ini penyudahan tu baguslah.
Kuching City FC assistant head coach Sulaiman Hussein attributed the defeat to the poor performance displayed by his men throughout the 90 minutes of the game.
Bukan sebab Perak bagus, tapi kita yang bermain buruk. Kita yang bermain worse. Sebab tu Perak menang. Pada kami tak nak cerita pasal Perak. Kita yang tidak bermain yang baik. Oleh itu, di Liga Super, you tak ada ruang untuk buat kesilapan. So kalau kita nak bersaing dalam Liga Super, pemain-pemain kena tahu demand yang ada dalam Liga Super.
Alright, so that concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, efforts are being made to ensure flood-affected students can attend classes. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Stay tuned to saluran Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.